In this physical geography assignment, you're going to be using historical imagery from Google Earth to look at glacial recession. In some places, you might actually get a chance to see glacial advance, though generally speaking, glaciers are receding around the world. You'll need to find a glacier either in Alaska or some other place where you'll be able to see easily the toe of the glacier or the end of the glacier. Very high alpine areas, this can be quite hard because snow coverage often extends late into the summer. But if you can find a large glacier that comes down to a fairly low elevation, it should be pretty easy to find. Right now we're looking at a Klutna glacier. On the very northern part of this image is a Klutna lake, and the glacier itself is located right here. I decided to look at this one because I recently was on a Klutna glacier and noticed that there had been a lot of recession since I had been there a number of years ago. So here we are, zoomed down and looking at the toe or the terminus of the glacier right here. What you can do when you find this is go to the path tool and add a path. I've already added some paths, but it's very easy to do. You click on the path tool, you give it a name. I named it for the year. And then you go and you click along the edge that you'd like to have measured. I did this for 2020, and this is the path that I created. I then went to the historical imagery button at the very top of the screen and clicked on it. That allows me to look back in time. I can scroll back and look at different years. Here I scrolled to 2012, and you can see that the glacier has receded a little bit from 2012. I made a path that marked this as well. Here's that path. Then I went back further in time to 2006. I made a path showing this. And actually this one I forgot to edit, so I'm going to go ahead and right-click on it and go to Properties, and that will allow me to edit it. This is imagery from 2004, so I'm going to change the name of the untitled path to 2004. I can also go in, if I want to, and change the precise precision of each of these things that I've clicked on, or add new ones if that's what I want to do. I'm going to say OK because I like it where it is. One thing you will notice is that the glacier has shifted a little bit here, and that's because the georeferencing of the images can be off by a couple of feet, depending on how the data are being collected. Now I'm going back to the very first time that I was ever on the Klutna Glacier, which was about 1996. And I made a path for this as well. Again, making paths is quite easy. Let's say I want to add another path in here. I just click Add Path, I give it a name up here, and then I can use this to make a path. When you're done, you say OK. Now I'm going to delete that untitled path because I don't have any data that shows that. The next thing that you can do is you can use the measurement tool, which is shown by this ruler up here. Click on that and produce a path. And take a path measurement from the oldest measurement that you have the glacier to the most recent one. And again, you do that just by clicking on it in one place and then moving to another place, and you'll see that it makes this path. I'm going to clear it though because I've already done that because I saved it, and I'm going to turn on the recession path that I made. You can then take a look at this recession path by right-clicking on it and looking at the profile. The profile down here shows how large it is and also how much it goes up or down. And you can see that the recession has been somewhere around 823 meters between 1996 and the most recent imagery of 2020. You can turn that profile off. The next thing to do is go up to the temporary places here and save this. But what I recommend that you do, rather than try to save it all, is to right-click on temporary places. And when you've done that, add a new folder. And you can call that folder something like glacial recession. And when you have that new folder, you can move it around, and I'm just going to move it to right underneath temporary places. And then I'm going to take all of these other things and place them inside of it. Do you see how I'm clicking on it, dragging it, and dropping it on top of the folder? And now they're become what are called children of that. I've done this now, and I can right-click on it and highlight it, and right-click it again and say Save Place As. And I'm going to save this as glacial recession, and it's going to be a KMZ file. I'm placing it on my desktop and saying Save. Now what I can do, if I want to, is I can delete all of this. I can go someplace else, and then I can say File, Open, go to the desktop, and find that KMZ file, and open it, and it will take me right back to where I was before. If I open this folder up, or this KMZ file rather now, you'll see that each of the plots are located here. Go ahead and do that, and then send me this new KMZ file that you've created, along with some discussion of the glacial recession, or advance, or nothing at all that you saw in the glacier, and a little bit of discussion about how measuring the glacier helps you to ground truth whether or not glacial recession or advance is really taking place on the glacier that you're looking at. If you have questions about this, as always, let me know.